Hello Year 10, this video is going to cover exercise 3E in the Year 10 5.2 Cambridge textbook. Usually I would print out the worksheets for you, but today we're going to have to copy the notes into our workbook. So write down the heading and feel free to pause the video if you need to write down the notes. And today's date is going to be the 9th of April 2024. Now first of all, copy down this yellow box. We're going to talk about multiplying and dividing algebraic fractions. So to multiply any two algebraic fractions, we first need to cancel any common factors between the numerator, the top expression, and the denominator, the bottom expression. And then we can go ahead and multiply the numerators together and then multiply the denominators together. It's important that you cancel out any common factors first because that will reduce down the numbers and it's going to make the second and the third step a lot easier. Now there's an important thing you have to note. You cannot cancel out any terms if they're linked with addition or subtraction. So I'll show you the examples down here, but you don't have to copy down these notes. Have a look at the first one. The fraction is 3 times 5 all over 6. You can see that it's got the multiplication on the top. So what I could have done is just do 15 over 6. And if you simplify by dividing both top and bottom by 3, you would get 5 over 2. Now if you were to cancel out the common factor first, I could have crossed out the 3 and the 6 here, make them into 1 and 2 by dividing it both by 3, and as a result get 1 times 5, which is a 5 over 2. And I end up getting the same answer. So that's perfectly fine, but have a look at the case where the terms are linked with addition or subtraction. In that case, if I were to do it normally, I would get 8 over 6, which is 4 over 3. But if I cancel out these two terms separately, like the previous one, then I end up getting 6 on top and a 2 on the bottom. But hang on a minute, 6 over 2 is 3, and the answers don't match. So with a simple numeric example like this, we can see how if the terms are linked with addition or subtraction, we are not allowed to cancel out separately. So keep that in mind. Okay, you will copy down the examples in your books, but as I always tell you, don't write down the worded bits, just write down the actual questions. So example number 1, simplify by cancelling common factors. So for this one, let me just copy down the actual fraction so you can tell the difference between the actual question and my working out. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I will divide both 8 and 12 by 4. And you should get 2 and 3 left over, so I write that at the front. If you see common pronumerals, you can also cancel them out as they are. I can't cancel out the y because there's 1 at the top, but there's none at the bottom. And if I write down the remaining terms in the same order, as in whatever is on the top should stay on the top, and whatever is on the bottom should stay at the bottom, I have 2y over 3. So that should be my final answer. For example 1b, same thing will happen. So the 3 and the 6, they can both be divided by 3, which the top one's going to leave me 1, the bottom's going to be 2. And if you see the bracket, if the expressions inside the bracket are exactly the same, I can just cancel out the whole bracket as they are. And that's possible because there is an invisible multiplication sign between the first number and the brackets. and that means all I have left over for that fraction will be 1 over 2. Example 2. The question sort of gives you a hint. It says simplify the fractions by factorizing it first. We've done factorizing last lesson, so as you can see on the top here, it's linked with subtraction, so then I can't really cancel out separately like that. That's illegal. So what I can do is maybe factorize the numerator by factoring out a 3, because you can divide both terms by 3. The remaining terms inside the bracket will be 3x minus 4 all over 3. So then now I have the top expression as a product form. I've got the invisible multiplication sign in the middle, and hence I can cancel out these 3's together, which leaves me with 3x minus 4. On the bottom I should technically have a 1, but something over 1 doesn't do anything, so rather than making it as a fraction, we just leave it as a whole number. Part B, similar. So on top, I think I can factor out a 4 from both of the terms. So I get 4 bracket x plus 2 over x plus 2. So I can see that the top expression is exactly the same as the bottom, which means, oh, it's not gonna let me change the color of the pen. Cross, cross, and then I'll just have 4 left over, and that's it. Example 3. For this one, same thing. I would cancel out first. Now, if you read the notes above, it says cancel out what's on the numerator with the denominator. So you can't ever cancel out across. It's only one from the top, one from the bottom. For example, the 12 here and the 9 here can be both divided by 3. So I get 4 and 3. The 5 and the 10 both divided by 5, which leaves 1 and 2. And then the x can also be cancelled out. So then as a whole, I've got 4 and a 2 on the top, so that makes 8 over 1 times 3, which is a 3. So it's 8 over 3. You can go ahead and change it to mixed numeral like 2 and 2/3, but I don't think that's necessary. Let's just keep it as improper. Part B, same thing. So I can cancel out the x minus 1 as a whole, and then the 10, 15, both divisible by 5, which leaves 2 and 3. Multiplying across, I get 3 times 3 on the top, which is 9, over 3 times 1, which is 2 times 1, which is a 2. 9 over 2. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Second part of the lesson is about dividing algebraic fractions. Now it's exactly the same thing, but there's just one extra step at the beginning. We need to change the division sign into a multiplication sign and take the reciprocal of the second fraction. Now if you're not sure what the word reciprocal means, it means you swap the numerator and the denominator. How about when you write your notes, you write it as the a over b changes to a b over a. That's the meaning of reciprocal. So have a look at example 4a. The very first thing we do is to keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and take the reciprocal. So flip the second fraction upside down. And once you get step number 1 done, the rest is just the same as the previous examples. You cancel out and then multiply across. So the 3 and the 9 becomes 1 and 3. The 8 and the 4 becomes 2 and 1. Now I've got x squared and x, so one of the x will be gone with this x on the bottom, So if you look across the fraction, I've got x over 6, because you've got 2 times 3. So I get x on 6. Last example. Same thing, just copy down the first fraction, change it to multiplication, and flip the fraction. So then, I can cancel out the x minus 2. I can cancel out the 3 and the 6. And as a whole, I would get 2 times 2, which is 4 over... so here's the thing, it's over 1, but again, having something divided by 1 doesn't change anything, so I can write that as a whole number 4. And that is it for the examples. Now I've got a quiz on the bottom of the worksheet here. It says find the error in the simplification of these fractions and correct it. This one I'll leave it up to you guys to try, and then in the next lesson that we have, I will go through the solutions and see how many people get it right. So find the error and correct them to get the actual answer for each of the questions. Now you can go ahead and either complete the textbook work, or there should be 2 maths-based tasks that I've set. So feel free to try whichever one first, but you do need to complete all of them by the end of the week. So yeah, good luck, and send me any emails if you have any questions. Bye!